Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Susan, roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Here.
Commissioner Cox.
Here.
Commissioner Graven. Here. Commissioner Phipps.
Here.
Mayor Hall.
Here. Consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted upon by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will occur unless a council member requests the item to be removed from the consent agenda. If an item is removed from the consent agenda, it will be considered elsewhere on the agenda for this meeting. Prior to asking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, the mayor will ask if anyone desires to remove an item from the consent agenda for public discussion. Anybody like to remove any items? Hearing none, I move we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November the 5th, 2024, and the bills and payroll for the first half of November 2024. You have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cox, and roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Graven. Yes. Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Presentations, petitions, and communications. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for persons who desire to address the council. The Illinois Open Meetings Act mandates that the city council may not take action on comments received on matters that have not been identified on this agenda. But the council may direct staff to address the topic or to refer the matter for action on the agenda for another meeting. Persons addressing the council are requested to limit their presentation to 3 minutes and to avoid repetitious comments. We would also ask you to state your name and address for the record, as well as stand when speaking. Would anybody like to address the council tonight? Okay. Would you come up front, please? We do have people online. We'd like for them to hear you speak.
Kevin Hampton, live here in Mattoon, work in City Hall, big part of my life. I know all of you. And this still makes me nervous. We came last week to the planning commission because of the,
Solar farm on Evergreen Court. Yeah.
yeah. And what I would like to ask the council is to please do something, adopt an ordinance or something to keep these solar farms out a fair distance away from the down or from the city limits, so that people don't have to come here and take up your time, ask them to allow these solar farms to be in our backyards. Last week we put back the place. We had 158 signatures. People voting that the place was full. They did go ahead and not rezone, ask to rezone that particular part or the two parts that they were going to, and we appreciate that. But the fact of the matter was, they made the statement that there had been mailers sent out. The people that were here didn't get no mailers. The sign to change the zoning was put up in the cemetery instead of at the end of Evergreen Court. There are things that happen to mislead people. And it's not fair to the taxpayer of Mattoon. And I just want to come back so that hopefully I won't have to come back again on these same two issues of the parcel they were wanting to adopt into the solar farm. I look for it to be snuck back in at some time. I don't get the newspaper, so it's up to one of the neighbors to tell me, hey, it's back. And I just assume I'll have to come up here and trouble you guys and bother you. And fill the place back up again. So I'm just asking, if at all possible, could we put a bubble around that to keep them a mile out or keep them a fair distance away from people's backyards? I know that there's a couple different solar farms that are going to be put in. One on the west side is going to be close to people. If it's already a done deal, it's a done deal. But I know that the people out around the school were out here a year or two ago asking you not to allow that one. And it's going to continue to happen unless we put a bubble around it and just make it say that you can't come any closer than this. I don't know if that needs to be the corporate limits or if it's just a mile out or what, but it's not fair to the taxpayers to have to come up here thinking that they're going to have to fight this thing that's going to be in their backyard. So I appreciate your.
Any comments?
I'll just say that, yeah, I mean, we're seeing more of the residents complaining about them. So, you know, I will say a couple of years ago when it went through, we only had a handful of people come in and ask some questions from that subdivision. But again, they had a couple extra parcels added to it. Originally we thought, well, it's behind the cemetery and there's a row of trees separating that from the subdivision. But as it goes farther west, you do have the houses up on 31st and 32nd. So that is definitely something, yeah, 29th, 28th. So that is definitely something to think about as we look at these more in the future, and staff will look at that a little bit more as well. And whether we do change it to outside the, mile and a half, once it gets outside the mile and a half, the county can't do anything about it anyway. There's a state statute that counties can't stop them, but we do have control on our mile and a half. So, or at least we feel we have the control on our mile and a half.
Yeah. Do you know of any other towns from your manager? You got a manager committee coming up right away.
Yeah, actually, I got a meeting tomorrow with several administrators and
Do you know of anybody that's done that?
I'm not setting a rule yet, but I will ask that tomorrow
Okay.
as well.
How many current inquiries or plans, solar
So
farm plans are there, projects are there out there?
we're
Right?
going to hear another one tonight that we've done before. It's up in the North Industrial Park,
Mhm.
but again, that's more of an industrial park. So
Right.
that's a different,
It's not
Yeah.
everybody's backyard, so nobody's
Right.
really worried about that.
right. So really, this is the only other one that's really kind of active, close to residential. There is some stuff.
So them wanting to come back again within 3 months. Or
Oh, I'm sure they will. And, depending on what they took from the meeting Tuesday night, hopefully they will look at going farther north up on Schaefer's property.
But like I said, they made the statement that there was mailers sent out. All the people that were here, everybody said they didn't get a mailer.
Yeah.
We do know for a fact it was put in the cemetery, and one of the people from Evergreen Court that walk over there every day, seen it, and they brought it back over and put it where it's supposed to be. So there's little diversions that they try to do to keep the people from knowing what's going on. And I hate to say that anybody's dishonest, but it sure looks that way.
Yeah.
And if everybody was getting a mailer, the place would be packed all the time. With people saying, hey, we don't want this in our backyard. And I guess where I'm at is, like I said, I don't want to have to come back up here again and continue this all the time. If the council would just make an ordinance to keep it back away from, a mile out or something, I don't think you'd have people complaining.
I think staff will look at them harder and we'll make those recommendations to them. We can't stop them from filing. They can always file, make it come to council. So we can't prevent that from happening, but we can.
It's my fault. I don't get the newspaper. So as far as for me finding it, it's just if one of the neighbors is lucky enough to find it, and that's what happened,
And that's something we probably need to look at too, because it used to be that was the standard, but putting in the newspaper now, like I said, several people are not getting the newspaper anymore, that maybe we make them do mailings within 150 feet or 200 feet or something like that.
So we'll look into that, what the options are, see what everyone else is doing and see what we can do.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
If I could add something real quick, just popped in off my head. So if we require them to do a mailer of some sort, I think maybe we ought to somehow include city officials or the city hall or somewhere to make sure that they're going out, because from what Kevin's saying is, that
Yeah,
makes you wonder if they are going out. So they need to, if that's going to be a requirement, they need
Make
to
it certified so they can show us
need
that
to
it's
prove
there.
somehow that it is
Yeah.
actually being adhered to. So.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. One thing I did want to mention, I'm on the planning commission, and every single seat in this room was completely full. And they were, I was a little worried, but they were very respectful, very professional in their inquiries and their questions. There wasn't a shouting match or anything, so I just thought that it needs to get on record that they all handled themselves very well. I think it needs to be acknowledged that they did it. I mean, Sandy, you were here, right? Kyle, they did
Yes.
a good job of being
Very respectful.
very respectful and professional. So I think that needs to be.
You did a good job of explaining that
Oh,
to us.
there goes the
But
ego.
we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody else like to address the council tonight? Okay, so we're going on to acknowledging the retirement. Who's going to do that? I think Commissioner
well,
Clausen?
Yeah, Mike Mitchell has been with the wastewater treatment plant as an operator. He's retiring after 21 years of service, and sewer department and their operations are one of those things that's kind of out of sight, out of mind until something goes south on it. But those guys work multiple shifts due to staffing, and they work in all kinds of weather conditions, a lot of it outside, of course, sometimes working by themselves and walking on frozen catwalks, et cetera. So Mike was a good employee, going to be missed. I wish he would have been here tonight, but do want to acknowledge his 21 years of service, City of Mattoon Water, or wastewater treatment plant, rather.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Let's see here. All right, now we're ready for new business then. I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-5484, approving the amendment to the municipal code under chapter 114, liquor control section 114.03 and 114.22, and chapter 35, finance and revenue section 3501. Fees and charges for the additional license of under B2, hotel and bowling alley, and the establishment of Class B3 entertainment and tourism venue license and fees, and its fees. So to narrow that down real quick, Alex, tell us what this means. And why are we doing this?
Actually, we are creating a new liquor license. No gaming is permitted with this liquor license at all. It's only for pouring. And essentially what it's going to allow is for a entertainment or tourism venue. So a place that's able to hold, I believe it's an occupancy of over 200 to be able to apply for that. And so this isn't specifically made for Emerald Acres. We would never make a license specifically for just one group. But their entrance into our community raised a lot of questions that allowed us to kind of think, hey, what's a way how we would still not really expand gaming while still also allowing for unique cultural businesses to pop up in Mattoon, given all the new influx of visitors that are going to be here. So effectively, it's a tourist license. They're actually able to stay outside on their private property, so they can carry drinks out there if they wanted. But they have to stay on private property, so you can't, go out on a, public sidewalk or road or anything like that with it. It's kind of the gist of that ordinance.
And we kind of pushed this forward pretty quickly because they needed to get their opening up soon, and we need to get this in front of everybody.
Yep.
Okay.
Alex, did they go to the planning commission as well?
So it's not a zoning change, so it doesn't.
Oh, okay. It's just straight to the code.
I don't have a second yet.
You don't have a second. Okay. We already had this discussion. So
So-
we need to get a second on this real quick for you. Before I shouldn't have let anybody discuss. Anybody want to do a second on this one?
Second.
All right, Commissioner Dodd. Now, and I'll continue.
So I think under current law or current ordinances that we have, they have to have a license, like a licensed liquor store or somebody that's licensed to have the liquor. So in other words, I can't buy it and serve it at these venues, or has to be like a liquor store or a restaurant that's got a liquor license?
So this is an entity that is to apply for that. So basically, you gotta have a occupancy of 200.
I get that part. I'm talking about providing the alcohol, I guess is where I'm going with it. Because I thought under the current ordinances,
So this is a new license, so they will be able to
Buy their own
purchase
liquor.
from a distributor.
serve their own
Right,
yeah.
alcohol?
And they'll get a license in the state.
And then we'll still have insurance that they have to provide, naming the city as a,
Correct.
All right.
Just like a new, say, tavern or restaurant or anything else, they'll have to supply all the dram shop insurance and
okay.
And then hours of operation are,
say,
there was
yeah.
no change there.
That's somebody's step.
Okay.
How many licenses are available under the B3?
This one's open.
Unlimited.
And when you apply for the license, that's like for the whole year? Or is this like on a per event?
So it's not for an event, this is just like a regular, tavern license or something.
It's a,
So it'd be for a year.
it's for a business entity.
Okay, gotcha.
And they're employees that have to serve and manage, they have to file an application, do background checks, all that, which they've already done. Okay, any other questions on this? Roll call.
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Commissioner Graven?
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes. I move to adopt special ordinance number 2024-1935, approving the replat of Emerald Acres Lot 14 subdivision. Petitioner Rural King Realty LLC. Can I get a second on that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Cox. And now on this one,
So Emerald Acres subdivision, they had, I think, 16 lots in their plat. Lot 14 is a bigger lot. It was designed to be able to put 2 hotels on it, possibly. They have sold part or want to sell part of that to a hotel. So it'd be under 2 different ownerships of that lot. So they're basically subdividing lot 14 into 2 lots. This lot's 2.6 or 2.9 acres. If it was under an acre, they wouldn't even had to come to us because it's already in a platted subdivision, no new roads or anything like that. But because of the size of the lot, they did have to replat lot 14 into 14A and 14B.
okay.
And there'll be several of those possibly in the future because we have a couple large lots on the east side of by the interstate that they just don't know if it'll be a big box or could be split up to 3 or 4 smaller.
Depends on what the market's going to
Right.
at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Graven?
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes. I move to adopt special orders number 2024-1936, granting a special use for a lodging or boarding house, Airbnb, located at 2104 Moultrie Avenue. The petitioners are Roy and Christine Miller, RCM Rentals A LLC. Would someone like to second that motion?
I'll second.
Commissioner Graven and, okay, what are we doing here?
So essentially, this is a approval of a special use for boarding and lodging house. Effectively, that is the current structure that we use to regulate short-term rentals like Airbnbs, VRBOs, stuff like that. And do we have any representatives?
Yep.
They're here in case you have any questions. This passed the planning commission unanimously. There were no objectors present. It came out at the meeting. And city staff is issuing a neutral opinion on it. It's really just up there. So, there's a lot of benefits to having these in the community. And I think keeping it with a special use still ensures, because we are going to modify this ordinance to make it so that you don't have to be R3 and get a special use. We're just going to potentially modify it to make it special use only. Because that way it still preserves people's right to, object to that. So, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're here just for that, and it's pretty much up to council. And if you'd like to say anything, it's welcome.
Anybody have any questions?
And this did fly through planning commission unanimously, right?
Correct.
So,
Yep.
Alex, was there any objectors to that? None?
Nope, not a one.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Phipps?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Commissioner Graven?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes. I move to adopt special ordinance number 2024-1937, extending the special use for the construction of a ground-mounted solar array solar farm located at 422 Progress Drive. Petitioner is Progress Solar 1 LLC and Progress Solar 2 LLC. Can I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Mr. Phipps, and I know this went through planning and they were approved, but
Yeah.
anybody-
So they came to us back, in, I think 2018, the first time, and applied, and the state didn't grant licenses yet, and kind of revamped the whole solar thing, and they came back in 2020 and got special use extended in 2022. And now it's finally things are moving forward, but they're not going to have it started by now or by the time this special use is expired. They have 2 years to start. So they are asking for one more extension of 2 years. They feel pretty confident that this one will get approved. They're pretty short on the list, and it's up there at Progress Drive where Ameren had the big laydown yard, that whole rock. It's just east of that. So where Progress Drive and Just Right Drive, you make that bend, it'll be right there on that corner. Again, it's in the industrial park, so not around any residentials. It's around warehousing. We think it's a good fit for the area.
Pete,
You ever heard?
Yeah, we have a representative if you have any questions.
does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Graven.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2024-2549, authorizing the employment of Joshua Bushart to a full-time probationary firefighter to fill a vacancy in the fire department.
Do I have a second to that motion?
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps, is he present?
Yes, he is.
Right there. Now, okay, normally what we do is we have the candidates give a speech. Are you prepared?
So what?
Okay. So come right up here and tell us why you want to do this.
20 minutes.
Yeah, you only got 3 minutes, so go ahead.
Well, I just want to start off by saying thank you guys for this opportunity. I'm very excited to get out there and help out this community. It's been a long road coming, and I'm just ready to get out there.
Very good. All right, thank you.
You did well.
Right on schedule. Okay,
Chief, you
go ahead.
So Josh, we hired him part-time, so we could get him into academy and, then get his EMT license while he was, going through that as well. Since academy, he has successfully completed his EMT, national test and academy. The instructor on his final evaluation wrote that Joshua was one of the fastest growths we have seen over the last 3 weeks. If he continues this level of effort, he will be an asset in Matthew. He's came in, I've had him working 10-hour days until this day right here. Came so he could become a he's got a great work ethic and we're looking forward to getting him on.
Good deal. All right, and, okay. Very good. Anybody else?
I did hear quite a few positive things about you and your work ethic while you're at Academy. So appreciate that. Congratulations. And just want to know that I did pronounce your name correctly this time, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I could try this all along.
So good to see you and glad you're here. Congratulations.
All right. Roll call.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Graven.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2024-2550, approving the reappointments of Melissa Harden and Skylar Harden to the Mattoon Arts Council, MAC, for terms ending September 30th, 2026.
I have a second to that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Clausen and, yes, let's see here. Anybody have any comments?
Members of council, obviously they're related. Skylar is a student and he's very creative, and you guys all know Melissa is a photographer and a very creative person as well. So glad to have them both.
Very good. Roll call.
Commissioner Graven.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2024-2551, approving a $16,000 grant by the Tourism Advisory Committee from FY 24-25 hotel motel tax funds to the Mattoon Youth Wrestling Club in support of the Beginners Wrestling Tourney to be held on December 12th, 2024, and the Battle for the Belt event to be held on January 5th, 2025, and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement.
And a second on that motion.
I'll second.
Commissioner Graven, and any questions anybody has? Where will this be held at? High school?
Emerald Acres.
And
It is the first one?
One of
Okay.
the first ones at Emerald Acres, yes.
So that's the first really
Yeah.
sporting event we've had there.
Yes.
Yeah, they have felt like they couldn't grow that some of the wrestling tournaments that they hold at the high school because of 2 days and the gym sizes that they have. They are cautious about going out to Emerald Acres, but think this is a real possibility of them being able to grow their, at least 2 of the 3 events that they do every year.
Yeah.
So they're excited, but also cautious of trying to prove that they can and hold these bigger
And make it go
and
financially.
make it go financially.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Great opportunity for these events to
Yeah.
expand and give them opportunities to see where they can take things.
Taking on that, Phil. I'm a coach for them as well. And by moving out there, we can add almost 300 additional kids to what we can have in high school. So bringing in a lot more people through that one. That's good. So from what we're hoping, almost 800 kids to that.
Oh, wow.
Very good.
That's a big event.
Okay.
Quick
Roll
question-
call.
quick
Go ahead.
question. On the application, it's, the motion's 16,000, but the application looks like they're saying 10,000.
There's
So
2.
there's 2.
Okay.
10,000 each.
Yeah.
The actual request is specifically for mats. In order to be expanding that number, they needed more mats because they've never been able to, they didn't need the mats because they didn't have the space, and now they do. That's what that purpose is.
So the original quest was for 20,000.
Yeah.
But the
There
tourism.
should be 2 applications there, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only seeing one, but,
2, I looked-
Yeah, there's, 2 events.
Yeah, there's 2 in there.
1,000 each.
yeah.
Yeah.
That take care of that, Dave?
Yeah, I'm fine. Good.
Okay.
I just didn't know if that's something needed adjusted there, so.
So, all right, roll call.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Graven.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2024-2552, authorizing the purchase with ARPA funds of iWorkQ software in the amount of $63,500 for the Public Works Department and authorizing the mayor to sign the software proposal and Public Works One service agreement.
And a second to that motion.
Second that, Mayor.
Mr. Clausen. And any comments on this, Dave?
Just say, for the public works side of things, everything that I've seen since I've been here, pieces of paper in a file, it's hard to track it, keep track of that kind of stuff. We don't even know, in a lot of cases, without going through all the files, add up how much these things actually cost us. And with the software, they'll be able to almost basically punch about it and it'll give you a total of the cost for that particular project. And another piece of this that we added to kind of the public works modules is a citizen engagement thing where they can be able to electronically submit concerns, questions, whatever. And then that's out there and we'll be able to respond to them and keep them updated and automatically notify them of what those updates are. So I think it's going to be a great tool for us to improve our efficiency and hopefully even save us some money.
Yeah.
So for example, if someone called in and said, I've got a problem with a tree or a sidewalk or a road or whatever, it can be logged in by whoever. Anybody can review that, find the status of it, keep
Right.
track of it.
Right. You know, you,
Does it have priority?
the council will be able to follow those and see what the status of those concerns or complaints are. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So Dave, it'll be on the website where they can hit a link
Yeah.
and go direct that way as well.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's gonna solve a lot of that. We've looked at several different softwares. This is the one that's probably the best for public works. We used to do some of that in Encode, but it was very difficult. We had just a few people trained on how to do it. And so that kind of went by the wayside because it was so encumbersome. But this will also gives us, with this platform, eventually we may work into the building inspections as well. There is another platform for building inspections, and we've been looking at and discussing, and may be able to integrate that in with it as well at a future date.
So does
Very
this
good.
keep track of like where the sewers run to, or is that a whole different?
Yeah, they'll get it up there, that's, I'll have all the sewer, water lines, all that kind of stuff on these stop signs, whatever kind of things we put on it, so.
Perfect.
As much information you want to put on it as you can.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Raven.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Department reports, starting with City Administrator Kyle Gill.
This week, working on grievances and bargaining requests. Been working back and forth and trying to set up a meeting, and I got an email during this meeting, so I'll have to look to see when we're meeting, but hopefully tomorrow. Got a managers and a administrator lunch meeting tomorrow in Rantoul, so excited to talk to them about some of the things that's going on and some of the things with the sports complex in Rantoul as well. Been working with several department heads on the sports complex. Angelia and I talking with the sports complex. Dave and I have been working on the west side drainage and some infrastructure out there at Swords Drive. Alex and I have been working on some grant for some of those other projects as well. Working with the Parks Department and Cemetery on some purchases now that they're slowing down. We have some money in the MEF, slated from the MEF for some equipment, so I'll be working on those for the next couple meetings probably. Working on job posting and reviewing applications. And we met with Celebrate downtown today, trying to get things organized for Celebrate. So been a busy week so far and continue to be busy this week.
All right.
Open up for any questions.
All right. No questions for Kyle, so we go to City Attorney Dan John.
Been business as usual for me, some project work. We did have a hearing last week on Tim Quackenbush's property. Tim made the case that he was making sufficient progress on cleaning the place up. I argued strongly that he did not. Got some nice photos from Alex that he took with his drone to help us out. Judge Bovar did take the matter under advisement and did ask for additional fines to be assessed. So we're waiting on Judge Bovar's ruling. When I get it, I will share it with everyone. But wait patiently.
Is there a time frame usually on those decisions?
As long as he damn well won't.
That's why he's the judge.
Darn, that word was darn. All right.
Yeah,
darn.
Yes, no,
Okay.
there's no way to push him, so.
Okay. Any questions for Dan? City Clerk Susan O'Brien.
Well, the candidates for the April 1st, 2025 election have filed their petitions. We had one for mayor and 6 for commissioners. We'll have a simultaneous lottery for the first 2 spots for the commissioners on the 26th. The employees and retirees have been turning in their participation election forms for the insurance and the flex spending accounts. And it's just been very busy with a lot of calls lately. So
Okay.
that's all I have.
All right. Any questions for Susan? Next is Finance. Beth Wright.
First, I have the October financial report. So halfway through the fiscal year, as of 10/31, general fund had revenue of 15.1 million, expenditures of 14.9, leaving a net of $235,959.15. In terms of variations from the prior year, it falls in other categories, other revenues. The differences there are the OSLAD grant that we received this year, monies in the GENT program for the ambulance service. We discussed at the last meeting that half of those totals, the GEMT totals, will have to come back to the state. But I think last year the bill was, either we received it in the summer months,
late sale,
Yeah. I think it's in July.
which would make sense because that's the states.
It's late.
It's either end of June, we have to have it in for sticking plan.
Other expenditures, the difference from year over year there is primarily grant spending of the ARPA funds. That we've been looking at that target date, 12/30/25, compared to 24. Cash position, citywide at 10/31, 25.2 million. And at 9/30 is 25.4. The revenue tracking, the major purposes of revenue in the general fund, we're down from the prior year by 131,000 and change. Last meeting, we were down 118, so it's getting going a little bit the wrong way. I'm waiting for property taxes to come in any day now. Third installment, and hopefully that will make a difference. Unrestricted cash in the general fund, as of today, 11.23 million. Last meeting, it was 10.67, and the meeting prior, it was 11.35. So, I mentioned before, it keeps bouncing back between a high and a low. Just want to mention that the tax levy, they had to do the truth in taxation, and there was a notice in today's paper. The increase, starting point is 7.6975%. PTAL will be applied and it will somewhat, but we wanted to capture all the property tax we could, because there has been an increase in pension contributions for the police and fire pension, and at the same time, a decrease in the personal replacement tax, which partially goes to fund those pension contributions. That's the reason for the truth in taxation. And I've been working on the fiscal 25 projection. Right now, the general fund is looking like it's positive, which is good news. And then from there, it will start in on the fiscal 26 budget. That's all I have.
Any questions anybody have for Beth? Okay. Next then is Public Works, Dave Clark.
So a lot of general maintenance, the water plant, wastewater plant, on our streets, and sure you've seen crews out there. We started some tree trimming this week also. As far as other things going on, we did some dam repairs at Lake Paradise this past week. And we're monitoring those to see how those perform. The pump that we got, we found some new settings that we needed to kind of adjust there, and it's now working the way it's supposed to, so that was really good news. And it's still working fine for us. As far as the sports complex, that is 99.9%. We're waiting on Ameren to make one more connection out there, and we should be able to get the lights on. We turned the lights on the west portion today, and we're still waiting on the kind of what I call the east side, Fort Worth Way, in that area there.
Right.
So hopefully I emailed them, Ameren today again, saying, when can you get this done so we can get that all out? Other than that, also working on getting our reimbursements for the sports complex. We received one so far, I believe, so we got a couple more that we're looking for there for IDOT, and also through Rural King. Also working with the Broadway project with BECO to get reimbursements for them. That project's now 100% done, so got the funds in, and kind of waiting to make sure that the data that we have in terms of reimbursements is good for them. Things that we're working on, we've been we talked more of the sidewalk program for next year, trying to get the sites, there's a never ending list of sidewalk repairs that need to be done, but we're gonna try to rank and prioritize those in the next couple of weeks. Also, parkings, we're looking at that. The Burgess Building, we've got a settlement issue in the building in the southeast corner. We had a structural forensic engineer in there last, take a look at that. And he's going to come back with his report and things what we might be able to do with that. We're also looking at that Burgess parking lot and the design and repairs for that coming up next year. Been meeting with the school district about safe routes to school projects that we might want to consider when the grant cycle comes around. Want to be prepared for that when it does. We met with last Thursday also to kind of talk about Illinois 16 and Swords Avenue and upgrades for that intersection. We also talked about Metro and everything along there. I guess that's just me, right? But anyhow, I think we got some good comments back from them. I think we're going to kind of take the lead on that intersection with Swords. So I met with one consultant already, hopefully get a proposal from them. And the other thing there, along with that, with Illinois 16 interchange, we're looking at trying to solar power the lighting in the tunnel for the bike trail that's out there. So also getting some proposals on doing that. West Side Drainage, Kyle mentioned that earlier. We did have a meeting today with Upchurch, who's our consultant, looking at that. And railroad, I think it was very positive. Some of the things that come up. We might even get some more movement on some of those other permits. So
Right.
I think it's going to be today. Other than that, I haven't got anything else to call.
Other than that, yeah.
Anybody have any questions? He's been a busy guy, just like, I know a lot of people are busy, but getting caught up on some of these things is really important. We got kind of behind on some things, not your fault by any means, but seems like we're making some progress for sure. And needless to say, it's been a big construction year on top of all that.
Yeah. We're trying.
So next is Chief Hilligoss, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mayor. Since the last meeting, the guys have answered 97 calls for service. Most significant one was a fire at 5, I believe it was 1205.
Yes.
1205 Wabash. Oven fire, they were able to contain it to that. Veterans Day. Inspectors have done 4 inspections. The guys have done training with the ladder truck. Their monthly ARP training, and they we've had a crew attend the flightless honor. The Council on Aging puts that on for veterans that can't take the actual flight. They take them down, show them a movie, and walk through the steps as if they were on the flight. It's actually pretty cool. I would encourage anybody that has not made it out to that, to go out there to honor those that can't make that flight. I want to brag on the guys. 99.9% of the time, I'm proud of them all the time. But it's, they've also done forcible entry training, and the guys get what is 2% money. This is from insurance. It's not just commercial.
It's mainly commercial, yeah.
Commercial entities that have out-of-state insurance coverage, 2% of their premiums go to the local fire departments. This is where they buy refrigerators, stove, stuff like that, that we, the city, don't normally buy. This year, they bought a forcible entry truck. And as Susan and I probably attest, every day since they got this, they've been training them.
Well, that's what that is.
Okay.
This prop is an $11,000 prop that instead of buying
Lounge chairs.
lounge chairs, TV, you know, stuff like that. This is what they chose to spend it on. So super, super proud. We also had our FAA inspection, and the inspector was impressed with our guys on, you know, their role with the inspection. They're given the coordinate, you know, they don't know what it is. The inspector will say, I need you to go to this runway intersection with this taxi lane. They have to go there, get what that's what I'm doing with them, a certain amount of time. He then started quizzing them about the airport and told Andrew that of airports this size, this is the most professional firefight that he's ever seen. So kudos to those guys for putting in the time and the effort. Then back in October, the guys at around 1 o'clock in the morning had a fire alarm at the First Mid Insurance Group building at 1520 Charles. Went in, found that the annunciator panel said that there was just a high temperature, one of those detectors of the temperature detector. Didn't say where, just gave us own. They started looking and found a server room. They said they have never been in a room that has not been on fire. It was like they got 120 to 150 degrees on their thermal image. So they set up fans in there to get air blowing on those servers while they were trying to figure out, waiting for maintenance to get there to try to figure out what's going on. Turns out, after over an hour, they were on scene about an hour and a half. They went out, somebody walking down the alley had flipped all the breakers to the air conditioning units for that. And it shut off the air conditioning. And talking to the maintenance guy reached out and said, their actions probably saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars and having to replace servers. And then he's like, I don't even know if he could put it on what was on the servers. So it kept them going. So super proud of them. O'clock in the morning, probably all they wanted to do was go back to bed, but just taking the time to actually find and, solve the problem. So few situations that just make me proud that they lead them and make my job easier. So
Yes, they do.
that's all I've got. Unless anybody has any questions.
I would like to thank your guys for helping us get up on the road there at Bridges too. That was real nice bringing the ladder truck over, made it a lot easier.
A lot safer to climbing up the ladder.
That's true too.
Anytime.
Okay. Let's see, next is Sam Gaines, Raccoon Police Department.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations on being hired. I'm proud of my guys 100% of the time. Yeah, switch over. Throwing that out there.
Ran him off, Sam. So.
We had 750 base calls for service in the last 2 weeks, 39 arrests. Been doing lots of testing. We had our promotional things here a couple weeks ago. Anyway, Police and Fire Board will be coming in this week to do oral interviews with them for lieutenant candidates. This past Saturday, we just had new hire testing, and everyone did good. Everyone passed the physical portion of that. I don't know about the written yet, but Police and Fire Board will be coming back to do oral interviews with them, and I'm going to try and get somebody. I need to try and get somebody into the for a BTI class. So, other than that, that's all I got.
Any questions? Anybody has?
I do. What's the parking ordinance on Broadway being backed into parking places?
Being backed into
Yeah.
a parking spot on Broadway.
Yeah. Like permanent parking there? Isn't there like,
Top of my head, something I looked into. I would assume you're gonna be using, proper lane usage to get.
Yeah.
plus getting out of it, because you're going the wrong way?
Going the wrong way.
Yeah, if it's on the angled one, yeah.
But as far as ordinance, I don't know. I mean, like I said, if you're caught doing that, then you could certainly get pulled over for proper lane usage.
I think there's an ordinance about,
There could
Yeah.
be, there's lots of it. But yeah, I could look into that for you.
We could just,
well, Ed doesn't do it anymore, I don't think.
I don't know.
But
Is that 22, Ed?
Currently, there's in front of XL Studio and Sound Source that seem to be permanent residents backed in, which makes downtown look crappy. But, and they're there 24/7. It's not, I can understand it if they're loading or unloading. I get that part of it, but to be a permanent parking backwards, I think that's kind of violating something. So, okay.
Any other questions for Sam? Arts and Tourism, Angelia?
Thank you. Met with Peyton Morrow yesterday. He's going to be starting a secondary project for us. He's working on the mural, the alley mural that will be right next to the library, back of Sound Source and DZ. But additionally, he's going to be doing a Christmas decorations on windows, kind of like chalk drawings on a lot of our downtown businesses. So that's going to be starting any day now, expected to be done for Thanksgiving, so that we can have basically for the holiday season. And this is at no cost to the business owner, that we're taking care of that. We feel like that adds to the decorations of downtown. Additionally, the decorations downtown look pretty great. The pole lights, everything, I don't know, it's nice to be coming west and see all those lights, sort of like almost like a runway. It looks really nice. So I know a lot of effort on the part of Public Works and TJ Hess, who has done a really good job with his first year. We had our Lightworks opening. He did a great job. I know that was some big shoes to fill, so he did a great job. And we did not have a counter. Honestly, everybody was doing something, but we had about the same number as last year, and last year was 10,000. So I would guess maybe slightly less, but not by much in terms of the walkthrough. So pretty incredible. We had a nice, cool night with no precipitation, and it was lovely. And if you happen to get on the Lightworks Facebook page, WEIU sent out a reporter, and he talked to Garth Jones at the Santa House. He talked to people just walking through the tunnel. It's a lovely representation of why people come out. And we have one guy in there that just about made me cry because he was just so precious about bringing his grandchildren out and how important it was to their family. So pretty cool. We have a photo show this Thursday night, opening at the Toyota building at Casey Summers. There's a reception Thursday night, and then it will be open for a few weeks after that. So you can go and look at the Toyota building. The Artisan Fair is this weekend at the Cross County Mall. We booked our Bagel Fest entertainment for Friday and Saturday night, and we've been working with Emerald Acres on future projects.
Very good. Any questions? Angelia? All right,
I
next.
didn't catch who the Bagel Fest entertainment was.
You didn't announce it yet.
Oh, okay.
Nice try.
You're going to be the opening act is what I've got written
Well,
down. So
No, the quartet.
yes.
I'm the
I
manager.
announced you and
My manager.
Susan's going to be part of the quartet. 'Cause that's
Well, the
supposed to
council.
be.
That'll run people off.
Hopefully, this is an earlier, we usually are not able to secure somebody this early, so if we're able to get it done, we can announce earlier, and that's better.
Community Development, Alex.
Yep, so we are about to be sending some ordinance your way about adopting new building codes. State of Illinois just mandated this, that it be done before the first of next year. So we've already purchased everything we need. We're updating everything to 2024, essentially the building code, residential code, fire code. And we're also going to adopt the international city building code. Should be kind of helpful for folks downtown that are doing renovations and stuff like that. There's a couple of things that it gives concessions for compared to the regular items. But outside of that, finalizing a $900,000 PCO grant that was pretty much guaranteed to Chapin Rose's office. So that's pretty exciting. That's for Forest Drive. Then also beginning to work on some tourism grants for Lakers. We got our short-term rental ordinance pretty much complete at this point, so we will be sending that through the planning commission in the coming months. Then pump track vendors are pretty much going to be selected this week, maybe next week. Got to get with James on that. And then just last quick things. One Hope United is moving in, I believe, this or next week downtown. It's a nonprofit kind of based out of Chicago. They went out here. They're based on the third floor of the Thrifty building. And the main thing they do is really support like foster parents, things like that, and transitions. So really great asset. Outside of that, this week I went to the Illinois Main Street Conference in Batavia. And it was fantastic. They just gave us a bunch of great ideas for stuff to bring back here, specifically workshops, which is kind of like a business incubator and tourism attraction. So it's kind of cool. Build a better block, a couple other neat things. Happy to answer questions on that later. And then, yeah, we do have the drone show coming up. We're celebrating the town on the 6th. So that's pretty exciting. And last thing is really we got 6 demolitions coming up. So excited to get to work on those. Happy to take any questions.
On the pump track, what's the estimated date that might be open? Next year sometime? You think?
Next year sometime. It's assuming how fundraising goes. So
Okay.
we're looking anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million for February.
And Alex, the trailer park at 6th and Marion is still progressing in a good way.
Yep, they're progressing. We have sent them an Instagram, just kind of detailing, hey, this is everything that needs to be done. And so, you know, as long as they work with us, we'll work with them. The second that stops, we'll get them with Dan.
Okay, any questions? Any other? Next is comments by the council, starting with Dave Cox.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things here. Did want to give a little shout out to tourism and Bagel Fest. Bagel Fest was awarded the favorite festival, correct? Is that the favorite?
Choice, I think, is.
Reader's Choice, favorite
Yeah.
festival, summer
Oh, good.
festival and so forth. So, and it just keeps growing and gets a lot good reaction. So congratulations on that. Keep up the good work. As well as Lightworks. We've seen, especially the last few years, it really seems it's becoming bigger and better. It's expanding, bringing in more communities around. And I think it's becoming, it has been for a long time, but even more so, it seems like a family tradition for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, and the walkthrough kind of contributes to that. So, congratulations on that as well. And then just wanted to thank the Millers for being here and congratulations. Best of luck on your Airbnb venture. It's, those are great initiatives and, you know, a little entrepreneurship that brings special things to our community. So wish you the best of luck. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Clausen?
Just want to kind of follow up on what Dave Clark said about the pump at Lake Mattoon. This project's been ongoing for about a year. And with the assistance of Commercial Electric, recently made some adjustments. And now we can pump directly from Lake Mattoon to that incline of 31 feet directly at the water treatment plant in case we have to bypass Lake Paradise because of bacteria or whatever issues. So that's a big take getting that done. And now we, according to Heather, we can pump 1,700 gallons per minute directly from Mattoon right in to be treated. So awful good news. Angela and everybody else has been talking about the Lightworks. TJ sent me a text. He had his 3 full-time employees, and then there were some others that came, I think, from the cemetery and some other guys that he had that still had some hours. But the downtown Heritage Park, taking care of the poles downtown, making that good look. Of course, Lightworks at Peterson, about 1,500 man hours on that. So very, very popular, of course, and a lot of credit to those. And there was a pickleball fundraising event last Saturday, and they did very, very well. And we're going to continue with Alex and Kyle and myself and Dave Clark to partner with them on some improvements to our current pickleball court.
Some of that money's for lights though, is that right? That's one of the things.
Kind of the plans,
Pay
some
the bill for
bleachers.
concrete.
Mm-hmm.
We paid the concrete, they paid the labor.
Right.
I don't know, 8,000 something I paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in it.
Briefly too, I'm also selling tickets for them for their, so I got till next Wednesday to sell them. I got 19 left. Come on, guys.
I'll take one.
I'll be writing those checks here before long day, so.
Dave Phipps said he was going to buy one for each of the council members as a Christmas present.
Yeah,
So
there you
thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
My office, feel free to stop by.
Can you start holding your breath right now?
I just did. Did you
Until
hear
I-
me choking
until I
to
get
death
paid.
over there? I mean,
Any questions for
firemen just sit there and watch.
Commissioner Clausen? Any
I'm
questions?
done, Mayor. Thank you. I'm just kind of talking.
You're doing good. Commissioner Phipps?
Commissioner Clausen took all my time, so I have nothing.
You're going to pass?
Well, I have to. I will say congrats to the Lightworks. Great job.
That's great. All right, Commissioner Graven.
I have nothing, Mayor.
And myself, just a couple things. Phase 2 of Emerald Acres, I think all the commissioners got an update on where we're at for phase 2, and it's looking pretty good to move ahead. There's always a few things you don't know for sure what's going to come through, but we seem to solve those. And starting some planning on the manager form of government very early. We don't know the answers. We don't even know what the questions are yet, but we'll be working on that. So you'll hear about that later. Okay, any questions for me?
No question, but I have a statement.
Okay, what was that?
Well, I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Second? Anybody?
Culper, you better second that.
I will second.
All right, Commissioner Clausen,
Culper.
roll call.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Graven,
No.
Commissioner Phipps,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
No.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.
Alex,
Thanks for coming.
I have 2 seconds each time.
Dan has everything there for you to sign. Thank you, Dan.
That's it.
Yeah, COVID, do you?
I think you
No, I got tested for that today. I don't have it. But I don't know why they gave me this medication for a cough and now I'm coughing more.